we are finally on our way to Belarus. Hey everybody, got an awesome ration. I got this from my friend Casey over at MRE Mountain. This is a really rare Belarus ration. It's a 24-hour ration. That's essentially what this says right here, ration. These things are really, really neat. They're actually pretty darn heavy too. You can tell that they are 100% sealed by the government. They even have their own little specialized serial number for each one of these rations. Let's see how heavy this thing is in grams and in ounces. 2,112 grams or 4 pounds 10 ounces. This thing is huge. Now it's just a standard, there goes Allie, just a standard cardboard box tied together with a piece of twine that's actually sealed in this seal. And there's nothing else on it except for the writing on the front. Well, I'm going crazy. I need to check this out. So let's cut this seal right here. Oh man, this is going to be neat. This has been on my list for an incredibly long time too. If you look at my Google Sites page that's down there in the description box, next to my Facebook stuff and Instagram. So, oh man, this is going to be neat. These are things that you just never think that you're ever going to get to do. You know, eventually I want to do Hungry and a bunch of other... Wow. Wow. Let's check this stuff out. From looking right at the top, this looks like a chemical heater. Or like a flameless ration heater. And you see all of these huge pads. You know, this thing is going to work super well. I wasn't quite expecting this. I was expecting more of a stove, and I'm guessing that is probably the expiration date, December of 2018, but we'll find out exactly what this is. 2 more flameless ration heaters. Check this stuff out. Isn't this stuff awesome? Alright, I'm going to start figuring out what all of this neat stuff is. And essentially what this card is saying, it is commissioned by the Ministry of Defense for the Republic of Belarus, Commerce and Production, like Ministry of Protection. And then down below is the menu items. Alright, let's see what this stuff is. It essentially looks like it just came right off the shelf and right into the box. This one is a small little tin of ham or pork. And this one, Google Translate just fails to translate it. The writing is just a little too small. But we will find out what that is. What is this? This feels like a turkey poultry pate. And in here I picked up the word garlic. So that will be good. We have 3 tins. These are obviously our mains. I'm pretty sure that this is a can of like meat and vegetables, and that is 340 grams. This one is groats in beef. And this one is a rice porridge, most likely with beef as well. What do we have here? Here's a small little packet of coffee, and this is sugar. 2 packages of crisp breads. That is obviously a packet of strawberry jam. This one is like a berry drink. I think it's going to be like a soul bear kind of thing, like a fruit soup. You have a peach drink. And this is the first time I've ever seen this. This is a moist towelette, like disinfection swab. And it looks like it might be strawberry scented. Totally a first. And then last, you get these little wafer chocolate filled cookie things for a dessert. Talk about a little accessory packet. Wow. So of course you get the bag that it comes in. I guess you could use it for your trash or to store what you haven't used yet. Probably the best durable knife that I've seen in a ration from this region. So you got a knife, a good quality fork, and 2 spoons. This one is probably a stirring spoon or something to that effect. And then you get some paper napkins to go along with it. Well, I'm going to figure out which one of these cans or which one of these porridges I'm going to have for breakfast and start getting stuff heated up. And to answer the question whether these heaters are for the cans, it specifically states right there, even though it is very hard to see, that this is specifically designed for a can. See, that 340 gram can is a lot of groats and beef. Here you go, let's take a look at it. It is very similar to kasha you would get in an IRB. It is slightly greasy, but I have acclimated to that taste, so it is good with me. It's nice and warm. If you are here in the States, if you've ever had a can of hash, breakfast hash in the morning, that is pretty much exactly how that tastes, especially if you cook a little bacon in there as well. Absolutely perfect. And then again, with your crackers, you could always use this as your spoon or your shovel for your hash. And that really works too, because then you get that crunch factor. Really delicious. Let's check out the ham. I opted to leave this cold just so I could have a different component. I have a hot, and then I have a slightly chilled or room temperature. And again, this tableware that you get, this cutlery, is quite superior to most other rations that I've seen. I mean, this stuff is durable. I'm putting some actual good force. I don't want to break it, but there's some of that ham, again with some of that gelatinous yummy goodness on there. And I'm going to just try a little bit of the ham on its own. It didn't have like an overly powerful salty taste. If you look in there, you can also see a nice cross section in there as well. And it isn't overly salty. I think this is the first type of like potted or canned ham type product that has not just been inundated with salts. All right, now let's try a little bit of our strawberry jam. on our cracker. Or on our crisp breads. That's really delicious too. So far this whole thing is really working. What I thought was going to be like a soul bear drink looks like it is just a berry drink that's supposed to be consumed warm, but I guess you could do whatever you wanted if it's your ration. It is kind of like that soul bear. It's very thick, very viscous, almost kind of like a honey. Not quite as thick as that, but wow. That's really good. It's got that nice berry smell and taste. And again, with your main meal, if you were looking to spruce this up and you had your own spices, you could put a little sea salt on there to wake it up. Maybe a little garlic powder. And then, of course, I know this isn't a big thing in Eastern European countries or in Asia, but hot sauce. This stuff will make everything taste better. Well, probably not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I'm going to doctor a little bit of this on this side. There is some garlic powder, some sea salt, and a little bit of hot sauce. And give it a little mix. And we'll give that a taste. Yes, sir. Just that little extra seasoning on there. You get a little bit of salt to kind of wake it up, and that hot sauce to give you that nice kick of heat. Almost perfect. Well, everybody, this was breakfast. Let's get started with lunch. Wow. That is a lot of moist towelettes. And they are scented strawberry. That's awesome. I must admit, I was expecting some vegetables in here too. Looks like it's like trishonka, but it's not one big slab of meat. Instead, this is like a meatloaf, like it's been pressed together. Take a look at that with some of the sauce. Looks like we have a little bit of the marbling in there, or the delectable fat. Wow, this broth, grease, preservative is so incredibly rich that if you have a middle of the road palate, this would probably push you right over the top. I mean, it is extremely rich. Think of a soup where there's calls for like 4 bouillon cubes and you put like 20. That's what you would get with that. We'll try a little bit of this with our cracker. It is salty. It's seasoned very well. It doesn't need any other assistance. So let's try it with our crisp breads. And that works. You get that crunchiness of the crisp bread and that smooth silkiness of that sauce and the chewiness of that beef. This works very, very well together. And then we have our potted meat. We will use the pate spoon. Very silky, very smooth. Wow. And I believe I was able to identify that this was a pork product. Slather a little bit on there. If you look in here, looks like you might be able to see some spices and seasonings. The only problem is the writing on these tins were so small that translating programs just didn't work. Let's give this one a go. Actually, I think this might be turkey. Really good. Again, it's really smooth. You got the contrasting temperatures. You got this nice hot meat over here, and you got this coolness again with the crispness of the cracker. We'll try some of our peach drink. Very smooth, not overstated at all. It has a slight sweet taste and definitely a hint of the peach. Overall, pretty good. I don't know about you guys, but me, after a meal like this, I might be ready for a nice tactical nap. But let's get dinner going. I got my rice kasha. This is rice porridge with beef. And I've had so many people say there's no such thing as rice kasha. Well, trust me, there is. This is like the second or third time that I've got it, because those are definitely little pieces of rice, which is said on the can, and that is definitely beef packaged in its grease. Let's give that a go. Very salty. It's much saltier than the groats that we had at first. Definitely has that oily taste. So as soon as you bite into this, oil immediately coats your mouth. It still tastes absolutely good. This would be another instance why you might want to hang on to some of your crackers to give this a texture, because this is all essentially a porridge or a mush. A meaty mush, but a mush nonetheless. And again, it would also be nice with your pate. Like I said, I could not translate this. It would not translate for me. I know one of these is supposed to be pork and one of these is supposed to be like a turkey or something like that. But this actually looks like liver to me. And I can actually see like the little black little specks in there that remind me of liver. Let me give it a try. Well, it doesn't taste like liver. This stuff is so soft and creamy. Let me get this proper thing. You can see this. It just goes right in there. And you get all this little oils and juice just seeping through. This is pretty silky too. Not salty at all. Oh, it's pretty good. This really works. Whatever this is, I'm quite sure that somebody is going to tell me what exactly this is, but that definitely works for me. And then for dessert, you get these little crisps that are essentially like ice cream cones that are filled with chocolate. It's got that nice soft crispness of this wafer or like ice cream cone kind of thing. The chocolate in there is really soft. It just chews in, you get that sweetness of the wafer, and then the chocolate hits it. That is just a winner chicken dinner. And I save these for last because chocolate always kind of goes well with coffee. And this is leaded with a little bit of sugar. In fact, what the heck? Let me dunk it in there and make it a cafe version. That works too. Well, everybody, this was a review of a 24-hour ration from Belarus, or the Republic of Belarus. Unfortunately, I did not have hardly any data or zero data, so I'm assuming that this is definitely right around 4,000 calories. You just saw those mains were huge, 340 grams apiece, and they were packed solid. Thank you very much to Blackdog Bob and, of course, Emery Mountain for making this review possible. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hooking me up, and I will see you all on my next review. Bye.